Spark is printing yield on stablecoins. It's got billions locked in TVL and it's paying its users in SPK tokens. Yet most of crypto Twitter doesn't even know it exists or even cares. Is this undervalued DeFi infrastructure or just another shiny airdrop that pumps and then dumps? We're going to find that out today. Another episode of the Altcoin Hunt. Let's get right into it. As we always do, we're going to start with the narrative and the vision. This is Spark's website. You can see their tagline right off the bat: earn 4.5% on your stable coins. Let's talk about some of the other things they offer, because this is really lackluster. I don't care about this. You can get 4.5% parking your cash in like the floating rate treasury, USFR, for example. So I don't see why you would necessarily want to do this unless you want to just keep your USDC sort of cash on chain and get some yield. But whatever. Their narrative and vision is they're trying to build a next gen sort of on-chain capital allocator. I hate when websites do this. It's going to make me scroll all the way through all this crap. They deploy basically $8 billion in liquidity across stable savings, lending, and yield layers. Their vision is credible, right? They're driving yield with both decentralized capital and real world assets, RWAs, like BlackRock's money market funds. So that positioning, that multi-chain RWA integration and deep stablecoin utility is macro aligned, but there's no flashy innovation here. Spark is infrastructure. It's not hype. It's just basic to me. You can do all of this with regular sort of TradFi assets. Like USFR is basically the same kind of vehicle for your cash. It's 4.4%, whatever. They're giving you kind of the same, but keeping your cash on chain. I don't know how I would feel keeping $100,000, for example, in their savings, which, it is what it is. Anyway, I don't hate it. It's just not really shiny. It's not something super innovative. They've been around for a while. For that reason, I didn't ding them too hard. I give them a 15 out of 20 on the narrative and vision. We'll take a look at their actual app really quick. It's sleek. It looks good. The front end is nice. It's cool. Like normies can understand this, right? Savings 4.5%. They do offer other stuff outside of set savings, which is interesting, right? You can lend your ETH, let's say, okay, we don't have that much. Let's say we have 40 ETH. We want to lend out 165K and we want to borrow, let's say, whatever, that much, 40K. And it'll kind of give you this loan to value. And, you can basically borrow assets. The borrow rate is 6%. They also do staking, airdrops, etc. But again, nothing really insanely innovative or, in my mind, cool, right? It's like the Facebook thing. Is it cool or is it just another whatever app? So that's pretty much it. We can move on to the tokenomics and supply. I don't want to badger on this point for too much longer. It is what it is. This is what Spark offers. Their UI is nice, etc. For the tokenomics and supply, this is where it gets kind of interesting. So they have 10 billion Spark tokens with 65% allocated to sky farming over 10 years. They're tapering emissions every 2 years. 23% is allocated to ecosystem growth, 12% to the team vested over 4 years. So there's solid structure, but it's still inflationary long term. You can actually see sort of what it looks like here. So for the team, the sky farms, and the treasury, and unlock progress is not even 20% yet. You can see that the cliff gets really high here coming up in 2027. So that's definitely something to watch out for. Their FDV is good. Their market cap is, about 100 million. The price is currently 9 cents. It had a pump earlier this month earlier in July. I think probably related to the regulation around stablecoins and things like that. So that gave it some clarity and gave it some juice. I mean, it went from, 2 cents to almost 15 cents. So pretty insane pump if you did catch that. But you could look at the entire timeline here and it's like, would you really want to be holding this? I don't know. But whatever. For tokenomics and supply, the ecosystem allocation early unlock does create constant sell pressure, and the slow burn emissions basically suppresses price over the long term. For that reason, I gave it a 12 out of 20 for tokenomics and supply. Nothing too crazy here. For text and execution, mean, they have good tech. The tech works. They've been around. It's on Ethereum. It's on Base. It's on Arbitrum. It's on Optimism. It's on Unichain. They're covering, all the bases here. Their features savings vaults. There's a lending market. There's a liquidity layer, all governed via their SPK token. And there's rewards, right? And things like that. So the GitHub does show active development. So they are actually working on this. You can see last week, they made a commit. So the devs are there. They're working on it. It's not a ghost protocol. The audits are public, which is a huge positive. The core platform does work. There's an ambitious roadmap with staking modules, multi-chain expansion, and real-world asset integration is underway. So those are all good things. I couldn't really knock it too much. I gave it a good score, 16 out of 20 for tech and execution. We can go to the market structure and liquidity. So we'll take a look at this one more time. It's listed everywhere you would want to be listed. It's on Coinbase, it's on Uniswap, it's on Binance. Liquidity depth varies kind of by platform. Most of the volume is on Binance, and the rest of it is kind of spread over all these other exchanges and decentralized exchanges. There's 200,000 users in Spark savings, which is a lot, right? There's 129 million Spark staked, which is worth about 13 million. User engagement is real, but price volatility is also high, as you can see with like this 50% sort of correction that we've had recently. Emotional retail behaves kind of like meme cycles for this, which isn't a great sign, in my opinion, if you're looking for something that's stable, that you can kind of trust over the long term. So for that reason, I gave them a 14 out of 20 for market structure and liquidity. We'll go on to the last section, exit risk and VC stakes. Tokenomics shows team investing over 4 years, right, which is 12% of the allocation, and farming emissions gradually reducing. That's good governance alignment. However, 23% unlocked at D, and farming tokens get minted every year. So there's supply pressure constantly, no matter what you do. There's no big VCs publicly disclosed on this, which lowers the cliff risk, but institutional holders do exist, and price can be fragile. Correction, institutional holders don't exist, so the price can be fragile. Exit risk is moderate, right? It depends on whether farming distribution overwhelms like the demand long-term. So there's team vesting, which ensures long-term alignment. Devs are working on this, but there's a large ecosystem, right? And there's large unlocks creating sell waves. There's farming inflation, which may, again, outpace demand. And there's no institutional support to stabilize the price. For that reason, I gave exit risk and VC stakes an 8 out of 20 for a final score of 65 out of 100. This is a high risk, high reward play. It has lead infrastructure. It's got a good UI. There's strong yield mechanics, and there are institutional facing features, but the tokenomics and distribution mechanics do weigh on the upside for this. If the DeFi cycle makes a comeback and TVL ramps further, meaning the total value locked on chain, SPK could thrive. If not, it could just stay sideways or retrace even further. Again, this isn't really a sexy play. It is what it is, and they're delivering on what it is. Sometimes boring can be good. That's pretty much it for Spark. I hope you enjoyed that. This was actually a comment request, so shout out to you. Thanks again for requesting this. It was an interesting deep dive into this token, and hopefully this helped. I drop these 3 times a week, so if you liked it, stick around for the next one. And as always, have a great day, and thanks for watching.